Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's episode, we share our thoughts and your feedback on The Little Mermaid Live and the trailer for Disney Pixar's Soul. We announce the winner of our Week 1 ThanksGAYving Thanksgiveaway and announce our Week 2 Thanksgiveaway. We cover the latest Disney news, and we recap my recent trip to Disney World for the 2019 Wine and Dine runDisney Half Marathon. As always, we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Adam Cornucopia Hummel.
Patrick Patience Kazuki.
Patience? Mm-hmm. I like that. It's a little bit soft and demure.
Yeah.
And kind of sexy. Don't you think?
Yeah.
That's what I present.
Okay, yep.
In my mind.
Yeah.
Outwardly, just a mess. Just a full mess.
Welcome back to real life, Patrick.
Oh, it's a drag.
It is a drag.
I'll tell you what. Thank you so much.
For those listeners that don't know, Patrick just got back from a runDisney experience in Walt Disney World.
I sure did.
And we're going to hear all about it later on in the episode. I can't wait.
More than you want to know, probably.
Good.
Yeah.
Spill the tea.
Uh-oh.
Tell us everything.
Mm-hmm. How was your week, sir? While I was gone, did you miss me?
I did miss you.
You paused a little too long for my liking, but that's okay. That's okay.
I just stared out the window, touched the raindrops on the window pane, waiting for you, waiting.
Do you mean snowflakes on the window pane? It's winter here.
It is winter, although it's beautiful today.
It is beautiful out. It's a warm 35 degrees.
I actually had a fantastic week.
Good.
I started playing the 16-bit version of Aladdin.
I saw that. You posted it on Instagram.
Yes. I'm not good at it, Patrick. I am not good at it. I don't quite get the jumping.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not good at video games in general.
That's kind of all the game is jumping and slicing.
It's jumping and slicing.
Okay.
That's so true.
Yeah, just get those apples.
But I'm very much like my arms go up when I jump, like I'm trying to get Aladdin onto that floating platform as much as possible, and I'm so terrible at it.
I'm sorry, Grandpa.
It's true. I was more of a Super Mario Brothers kid.
Yeah, no jumping in that game.
None.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, but it kind of becomes ingrained in your body. Like once you know the patterns, you figure it out. Mm-hmm. And I just haven't got there with Aladdin yet.
Fair enough.
How was your week?
It was good. I went to Disney World, as you
did,
know. Yeah.
Yes.
I did a quick half marathon.
Just a half.
Not so quick, but it was a half marathon. Came back, went right into work and rehearsals.
Yes, rehearsals.
That's right.
Tell the kids at home what you're rehearsing.
Oh, I'm doing a show called Adventures in Mating, the Holiday Edition. It's a show I've done before, which was just called Adventures in Mating, and we sort of added a holiday overlay to it for the holidays.
It is such a funny show, and you are hysterically funny in it.
Oh, thanks so much. It's a really fun but really difficult script to learn. It's a choose your own adventure, so the audience gets to decide sort of how the show goes. So there's potentially like 100 different ways the show could go any given night.
And it's so exciting for the audience to watch because as choices are made, you can see the actors kind of react and like kind of go into their heads for a split second.
How very dare you. We know exactly what we're doing.
It's part of the fun.
No, it's true. It's true.
I love it.
I'm very lost in that show.
You're very funny in that show.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
Well, Patrick, we have a couple of listener shout-outs.
I love shout-outs. So we had listener Glenn, who's on Instagram at the Glenn with 2 N's. Very informative. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn says, "Hi, Adam and Patrick. I've been lurking, not in a creepy way." Well, that's debatable, Glenn. "For many months now and wanted to finally say hi. Love your show. The production level of the show is high and your interaction together just puts a smile on my face. I recently listened to episode 10, last year's post-Run Disney Wine and Dine Weekend. That was with Anna Wegel.
That's right.
And enjoyed reliving running my first 10K and Run Disney race through Patrick's recap." Hey, that's me. "I didn't buy tickets to the Sunday night race party and was happy that I didn't once the rain rolled in. I felt bad for the partygoers that night. Hopefully the weather is better this year. P.S. Loved episode 24 and Amanda's reasons to get an annual pass. So thorough and detailed. She made me feel like I made the right choice in getting one." Oh, that's good to hear.
That's what we're here for, Glenn, is just to validate all of your life choices.
Disney, if you're listening, we'll take a commission on that. I do remember that post-race party last year, and it fully was like you were swimming through Epcot. It was insane.
I'm hoping it was better this year.
It did not rain, so that's good. Was it better? Who can say?
Spoiler alert. Let's find out.
Just kidding.
We also need to give a shout out to Lane and Ryan, who host Wed and Woke podcast.
That's right.
You can find Lane on Instagram at Tomorrowland Lane, and you can find Ryan on Instagram at Space Ranger Ryan. Those guys are so sweet, and they gave us a little shout out on their episode last week, so we need to thank them for that.
So nice of them. And I believe Ryan was our most recent winner of the Madame Leota giveaway.
That's right. He won the Funko Pop figure.
In a way, we paid them to give us a shout out.
Extortion.
Yeah. I'm okay with it.
Probably going to get impeached for it.
Oh, no. Moving on quickly. Adam, we have a new listener.
A new Tweedledee.
A new Tweedledee named Cricket.
I love that name.
That is the best name ever.
I really love that name. In fact, I fell in love with that name. I think it was, indulge me for a moment. I'm going back to soap operas again, Patrick.
Oh, jeez.
I think it was The Young and the Restless. There was a character named Cricket on a soap opera.
Interesting.
And I first heard that name on that soap opera, and I loved it.
Cricket, let us know if that is what you're named after. I imagine not so much.
I think she's too young to even remember The Young and the Restless.
Who can say? Cricket can be found on Instagram at AkioPixie319.
Is Akio a Harry Potter reference?
It is. It's a spell, I think, that means come here, basically. Like, bring it here.
Cute.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the podcast, Cricket. Well, Patrick, it is a very big week.
It sure is.
Disney Plus launches on Tuesday.
Have you quit your job yet?
It's on my to-do list.
Yeah, the launch codes are ready.
But we thought we'd take the opportunity to let you know that we're going to be introducing a brand new segment next week.
Ooh.
Just a short little segment.
A mini segment.
Called What You Watchin'.
What You Watchin'.
Where we find out what Patrick and I are watching on Disney Plus.
It's going to be a long segment because that's all I'm going to be doing next week.
So you're just going to have a laundry list of everything you watched in the past week?
If my stage manager is listening right now, I promise I will read the script here and there.
Yeah. You're going to start making Disney Plus references in the show?
I might.
It's improvisational. You could.
I absolutely could. And it's all I know, really. So top of mind.
You'll know when I come to the show that night because I'll be the one person laughing at the Disney Plus references. And everybody else will be like, what? I don't understand. Mandalorian, what?
It's true.
But we'd also love to know what you, our Tweedledees, are watching on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah, give us some suggestions. Let us know what has caught your eye, what's been sort of nostalgic for you, what's new for you. We want to hear it all.
You can reach out to us on social media at GDTD Podcast.
And you can always email us or send us a voice memo at info@gaysdothed.com. Adam, I know what you was watching this past week.
What was I watching?
The Little Mermaid live.
I was watching The Little Mermaid live.
Samesies. Well, not live, technically. I watched it the next day.
Me too.
Oh, maybe we were watching at the same time.
Maybe we were.
Uh-oh. That's creepy. I don't like it.
It aired last Tuesday, November 5th on ABC. Mm-hmm. And Patrick, it scored just under 9 million total viewers.
Wow.
And was the highest rated made-for-TV musical on any network in almost 4 years since Fox's Grease aired in January 2016.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Can you believe Grease was 4 years ago?
Wasn't Grease sort of the first of the lineup of live Broadway shows that were aired on TV?
I think that was The Sound of Music with Carrie Underwood.
Oh, I blocked that fully.
I think that's what spawned this whole kind of genre of live TV musicals.
Got it. Oh, yeah, Grease was the one that had an actual live audience along with it.
That's right, and I think that was kind of the first of that kind of addition to the live broadcast.
Which is helpful, I think. It's really weird to watch those live versions and there's just no response after a big song or a joke.
Oh, there's a response from me at home. Who needs this? Or just like wild applause.
That never happened when I was watching Sound of Music. I'll let you know. Well, those are pretty incredible numbers.
They really are. A lot of people tuned in to watch The Little Mermaid live.
So what did you think overall of the production of The Little Mermaid Live 30th anniversary?
I thought the production values were incredible.
Yeah.
I'm going to open with something positive.
Yeah, samesies.
But it felt really awkward to me. The whole thing felt awkward to me.
I think that's just what comes with doing a live version of anything on TV. Mm-hmm. You know, there's just that element of it's just not quite right.
Yeah, then don't do it. Just don't do it. And part of the problem for me was the transition from the animated film to the performances.
Oh, okay.
I got so invested in watching the animated film again because I hadn't seen it in a couple of years.
Yeah, you were like, oh no, live people.
Stop it. I just want to watch the animated musical numbers and hear them.
See, I'm on the flip side. I actually kind of liked what they did with the transitions. I was pretty impressed. Every once in a while, like, I think it was Grimsby, threw the fish over his shoulder and it went right into the animation.
Yes.
I was like, that was pretty seamless.
It was. I agree with that. Yeah.
I really liked that. There was a few moments of that I was like, wow, well done. You're upping the level of what you can do now. So I think if they're going to continue doing this, which I think they are, we're going to see better and better production values.
What did you think of the performances?
Hit and miss for me. There were some really standout performances and there were some really please sit down performances.
Take a seat.
Take a seat, please. I was actually pretty impressed with Ali'i Carvalho. While I do think that she maybe had a little bit of an off night and maybe nerves took over or whatever it was, I listened back on the album that they released, and she sounds amazing on the album.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's done in a studio.
Of course. And so live, while her voice was beautiful, it was just a little bit like right under the bar of where I wanted her to be.
Listeners at home, you would be surprised what Patrick's voice sounds like before it goes through the studio production values.
It's just a mess.
It's like Minnie Mouse, and then by the time I'm done with him...
It's pretty incredible what you can do.
I agree with that. I think she had an off night. Overall, I would say that this to me seemed like the B cast of the Little Mermaid live. Like, I think they had...
Aggressive.
Yeah, it might be aggressive. I think that they had their kind of ideal choices, and I don't think they got those people.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Queen Latifah.
Sure.
And then they were like, who are our next level of choices? It's this person, this person, this person.
Speaking of, Queen Latifah, I think strangely was having a very nervous night as well. She seemed to sort of rush through the song.
She did.
And you could tell that the conductors were like, slow down.
Yeah.
Because again, when you listen back to the album, it's a lot more laid back and she's letting her voice do what her voice can do.
Yeah.
And live, it was just like she sort of skipped over some things and flubbed a couple of words. And I think the nerves, again, just got the better of her.
Everyone seemed a little bit erratic,
yeah.
Didn't they? Like they were kind of underprepared for it. And
agreed.
Maybe they were. I mean, it's a live performance. Things can go wrong. I wish everyone would have relaxed into it just a little bit more.
Sure. I will say, Graham Phillips, I thought, did a wonderful job.
I agree with that.
And boy, oh boy, hello, sailor. He is cute. I wanted to mop the deck after, you know what I'm saying?
You want him to explore your fathoms below.
I sure do. He did a wonderful job. I was really pleasantly surprised by him.
I was too. For not knowing who he was at all before it started.
And then Shaggy was just sort of, okay, hi.
Shaggy excused himself from his Thriller cosplay group.
For just a brief moment.
Just a moment to perform in the Little Mermaid live.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening. If he was just like, I'm not wearing those legs. It's not happening.
It was odd that
I've
some
got
people...
street cred,
yes,
sir.
Some people were fully decked out in like Little Mermaid costumes.
Yeah.
And there was Shaggy in his red leather jacket and ill-fitting red pants.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
I don't think he did either.
Yeah, fair enough. I also didn't love his performance of Under the Sea, but I think I just don't like that arrangement of it maybe as well.
Yeah.
However, when he did sing Kiss the Girl, I was like, I'm into this.
You felt things.
I felt some things in some places I didn't know were alive anymore.
I was not feeling the camera work on Kiss the Girl.
Fair, that's fair. There was a lot happening, and I think it was hard to focus on one thing.
It felt like voyeurism, like here's the live cam feed from Ariel and Eric's boat.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I think overall, I was impressed with what I saw, more so than I thought it was going to be. I wish I had been there live. I bet if you were there live, it would have been such a much more beautiful experience. And live, it's hard to capture everything that's happening on stage.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Patrick. I'm sure like when you're wrapped up in the live aspect and you're there in the theater, it would have been a lot more thrilling. But it didn't translate to my experience watching it at home.
That's fair enough. I think it was a lovely tribute, though, to the 30th anniversary of The Little Mermaid when they mixed sort of all of the mediums that could be with The Little Mermaid. I thought it was a nice tribute to it.
I agree with that. I just wish they would have stuck with one thing or the other.
Okay.
So like either show the full movie and then have interstitials of like the making of the movie. Maybe that would have been more interesting. Or do a full-on in-concert version of The Little Mermaid.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had a lot of listener feedback for this.
Probably the most we've ever received for anything.
100%, which makes sense because there was a lot to talk about with this production. So what do you say we dig into some of the listener feedback that we got?
Let's do it.
All right. So first up, we have Tarek, who is on Instagram at Tarek Akbik, says, think they could have picked singers with better voices for Ariel and Eric, but there's something cute about how raw it is. That's an interesting point of view.
Mary Beth, who you can find on Instagram at HippiePippy78, Patrick, said, sad that Sebastian missed the best line ever, darling, it's better down where it's wetter.
Yeah, we bumped on that too, and I thought maybe they just changed the line, and so I listened back. We actually just recently listened back to the album again, and it's in there, so he just missed it that night.
There were a lot of missed things that night.
Moving on, we have Melissa, who is at MayorWest3 on Instagram, says, so far, my biggest disappointment is that Shaggy missed the best line of his song, so she agrees with Mary Beth. Also, did he take his costume off before he went on stage, or did someone forget to dress him appropriately? He looked kind of like he was Disney bounding rather than being on television. Where were the claws?
Sounds like the claws were in your statement, Melissa.
Ooh, they're in his back now.
Cassandra, who you can find on Instagram at BoredLifeMama, said just okay. Both kids asked to go to bed in the middle. Sebastian and Ursula were the best.
Fair enough, fair enough. It's not great when both kids ask to go to bed.
That's true.
Hey, Mom, this is a cute movie, but can I go to bed now?
Oh, that's so true.
I'm done being alive right now. Kenny writes to us from Kenny Gambone on Instagram. I thought this was great. The staging and the set were amazing. Queen Latifah was a highlight for me, and her costumes were stunning. Also, surprisingly, Les Poissons was a great scene, and Fathoms Below was so high energy too. Ali'i is just flawless. Did anyone else see the Little Mermaid merch commercial with a little girl and little boy in mermaid dresses hugging? Crying emoji.
Cute. I didn't see that because I watched it after the fact.
That's true. That's true. We kind of forgot to talk about John Stamos, by the way.
We certainly did. Do you want to dive into that right now?
I like to look at John Stamos. I didn't like to look at him in this number, though.
Yeah, Kenny, I can't agree with you on the John Stamos sentiment. I was not into his performance.
I think they gave him way too much to do. There was too much hullabaloo.
Yes.
If they had just cleaned it up a little bit, he may have had more time to relax into the role.
Matt, who you can find on Instagram at matt.t.b.r, said, I thought this was a lot of fun. A nice new way to celebrate the film's 30th anniversary. It did feel like just a concert with animated interstitials, but I realized that's literally what it's based off of after the Hollywood Bowl shows. I thought Ali'i and Queen Latifah were perfect, and everyone else was pretty good, though Shaggy Bastion was definitely the weakest one for me. I'm sure we'll be seeing a Beauty and the Beast one based on that Hollywood Bowl show in a couple of years.
Trevor, who is on Instagram, Trevor Roleg, says, I was very excited for this, but found myself let down. I thought it relied too heavily on the animated scenes and wanted the show to be more like an actual production, similar to things like The Wiz Live or Hairspray Live. Some of the costumes felt cheap to me, but I give the show major props for its use of puppetry, props, staging for the songs, and the actors all did a phenomenal job, especially Ali'i and Queen Latifah. All in all, I enjoyed it, but it didn't live up to the hype.
Chad, who you can find on Instagram at Chubby Chadley, said, I really quite enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect by any means, but I thought the staging of the production numbers was actually quite ingenious. Ali'i was fabulous, and I feel like she was perfectly cast as Ariel. I got the chills during Part of Your World reprise. Queen Latifah is truly a queen. I'm going to start a petition to cast her as Ursula for the movie. Shaggy was... well, Shaggy. I mean, were we expecting to be blown away by his performance? Prince Eric was cute, but can we talk about how adorable Max was? Yes, Max!
I forgot, yeah.
And Uncle Jesse sword fighting with a bunch of crabs was odd, but somehow it worked. I feel like it was a fun tribute to a movie that is so near and dear to many of us.
Moving on, we have Kirk, who's on Instagram at Kirk Acola. That is the cutest name ever. I thought it was The Bubbles. It was essentially what they've done at the Hollywood Bowl, but the live portions were much more theatrical. I would have liked a better blend of live and film, especially during the shipwreck sequence and the battle with Ursula at the end. She's in Love was missed, and I wish they had done the full quarter version of If Only. I loved the live performances, and the show was perfectly cast. Live Max the dog was awesome. The set pieces and projections were incredible as well.
Nick, who you can find on Instagram at Jankowski Nick, said, I enjoyed it overall. The staging and choreography of Fathoms Below was fantastic and had me daydreaming of a carefree life at sea. Ooh. Oh, Nick, where incredibly buff sailors, yes please, are perpetually swinging back and forth in cargo nets.
Yas, Queen.
Musically, I thought Queen Latifah's rendition of Poor Unfortunate Souls was really well done and honored Pat Carroll's original iconic recording of the song while also introducing a bit of Queen Latifah's own artistic flair. There were a few moments during some of the numbers where I felt the lyrics were rushed, but I attribute that to the pressures of producing a live, televised show more than anything else. The low point for me was John Stamos' take on Les Poissons, which was almost unrecognizable and felt a bit like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Oof. Ooh.
Instead of Uncle Jesse, it would have been nice if they had found a stronger performer. Neil Patrick Harris or Ewan McGregor would have been great choices. We already know Mr. McGregor could have killed it since Les Poissons and Be Our Guest are essentially the same song. He is absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
As I was listening, I'm like, where have I heard this before? But only slightly different. And it is. It's Be Our Guest.
It's kind of the same cadence at least. It was Uncle Messy instead of Uncle Jesse, maybe.
Patrick, you nailed it.
I did. Moving on to Kim on Instagram at Kim Chi. I went into this with very low expectations, and I'm happy to report I actually really enjoyed it. Ali'i is a queen, as always, and Queen Latifah did a great job as Ursula. Shaggy was a concern of mine, but I was definitely surprised by how much I liked his performance. I probably could have done without some added songs, but I'm still low-key obsessed.
Jackie, who you can find on Instagram at JYIS42, said, I'm very glad we had some elements of the Broadway show, a personal favorite, and John Stamos was surprisingly wonderful. I thought the costumes and puppets were a little too close to the movie, which I get was their intent, but having seen the show live many times on Broadway, I know Disney is capable of much more. Didn't mind the movie part as much as I expected, except they cut out some of the best lines. We won't get into Sebastian, should have been Titus.
Yeah. Agreed. I love him so much. Allie writes to us on Instagram, AllieJoyW. I think Queen Latifah is stealing the show. Had higher hopes for Ariel, but she is not impressing me. The choreography and effects are pretty cool, but the singing, except for the Queen, is not great. Also, what the heck was with that flounder puppet? Hashtag not my flounder. Wow.
That's so true, though. Why did Flounder look so different, but then every other element of the show looked like the animated film?
Yeah, it was almost like they were introducing a new Muppet character.
Yes.
Those eyes were a little off-putting to me.
And last but not least, we got through all of these, Patrick.
A lot. It was a lot.
Paul, who you can find on Instagram at jpaulfinlay, said, I may be in the minority, but I really enjoyed it. Little Mermaid has always held a very special place in my heart, and I thought this production did it justice. Sure, there were problems. Ali'i was pitchy in a few places. Shaggy's acting was stiffer than frozen fish. Oh, Paul. Oh, Paul. And why did Sebastian look like Michael Jackson in Thriller? Yes, Paul, that's absolutely true. But overall, the good moments shone through. Ali'i was well cast as Ariel. Graham Phillips wasn't just adorable as Prince Eric, but he could really sing too. The choreography was fun and frenetic. The blend between animation and live action was well done. And of course, Queen Latifah ruled. Great job.
Well, that was a nice note to end on with the feedback.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone who wrote in. I know we weren't able to read everybody's comments.
Yeah.
So we hope this was a good sampling of kind of the overall thoughts and opinions of the live broadcast.
Exactly. One last thought. I forgot about it. Amber Riley. What the what? I was almost like, did they have her in their back pocket just in case Queen Latifah bailed?
She was the C cast.
Right?
For The Little Mermaid, yeah.
But let's be clear, Amber Riley can sing.
Oh, yeah, she's fabulous.
Holy buckets. It was almost as though she was like, remember me? Remember me? Do you need me for anything? Because I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing to like essentially open a show with Amber Riley.
It's true, because everyone else was like, oh boy, now what do we do? Well, Adam, since we talked about The Little Mermaid for 18 years... And it's the 30th anniversary. What do we say? We jump into some anniversaries.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we're not going to start with The Little Mermaid because we're going to start with the youngest one.
All right.
29 years old on November 16th, released in 1990. One you haven't seen, The Rescuers Down Under.
I sure haven't seen that.
That freaks me out that it's 29 years old already. Because if I'm only 23 years old, I don't see how I could have seen it when it came out.
I'm not great at math, but I don't think that math adds up.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Turning 30, any guesses on November 17th, 1989?
The Little Mermaid?
That took you a long time to think about it. We just had a 45-minute discussion about The Little Mermaid. But yes, The Little Mermaid. Did you see this in the theater when it came out?
I did not.
I did. So, sucks to be you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that because I saw it at a friend's house. And I remember that exact day I saw it, I made my mom go out and buy it because I was just obsessed from the moment I saw it.
I saw it with my two friends, Nathan Brutally and Tony Mueller. I still remember their names. We have parted ways since. Like, this was 30 years ago. But I remember that very specifically. We all went and saw The Little Mermaid, and then I think we both saw it like 3 more times after that.
So cute.
We loved it. We loved it. Moving on, turning 39 years old, released on November 12th, 1980, a live-action movie, Popeye.
Oh, dear.
Why, oh, dear?
It's terrible.
You are in a minority, Adam. I'm telling you that.
Have you seen the movie? It's awful.
It's amazing.
Oh.
Tweedledees right into us and tell us what you think.
No, I think you're wrapped up in nostalgia. It is really not good.
Oh, I think it's just a very stylized movie. It's very specific in how they were portraying Popeye.
I totally agree with that.
Oh, you just didn't care for that style.
No, the style's fine.
I'm lost then.
Script, plot, performances.
We could not differ more on this one. I really love that movie.
Ugh.
Interesting. Moving on to a little bit of a problematic movie, but we're still going to talk about it, turning 73 years old, released on November 12th, 1946, Song of the South.
That is problematic.
It sure is. Problematic enough that it's not going to be released on Disney+.
It's not, but you know what? I still think it's important for people to see it, and let's talk about it, right?
Sure, yeah, of
let's
course.
not just hide it away. Let's talk about what we've learned since this movie was created and how we can keep pushing forward and not go back to embracing or revering the kind of thoughts that helped create that film.
Absolutely. I think there's a very big space in between celebrating it and forgetting it.
Yeah.
And that should be discussed at some point. Maybe we will at some point. Who knows?
Yeah.
Moving on to a brighter note in Disney history, turning 79 years old, November 13th, 1940, Fantasia. Did you hate this movie as well, like Popeye, Adam?
I will admit that I was bored by this movie as a kid.
Oh my gosh, you are freaking me out today.
As a kid, I was bored by this movie.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's not a plot to it. You know, it's just a beautiful kind of meditation on classical music.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as an adult, I can appreciate it much more.
I must have been much more advanced than you as a child, because I remember falling in love with this movie immediately. I wore out a VHS of it.
No, it didn't do it for me as a kid, but as an adult, I find it incredibly beautiful and moving.
Well, your opinion means nothing to me anymore today. But happy anniversaries to Little Mermaid, The Rescuers Down Under, Fantasia, Popeye, and Song of the South.
Let's flash forward to a movie that hasn't been released yet, Patrick.
Ooh, a yet to have an anniversary.
That's right. Last week, Disney and Pixar released the trailer for Soul, which will be opening on June 19th, 2020.
Very exciting.
What'd you think of the trailer, Patrick?
I was moved by it. I'm really excited to learn a little bit more. Not enough that we know fully what it's about, but I really am excited for this movie.
I am too. I was moved by the trailer. I can't fully explain why.
Yeah.
But I will say that the styling of the film looks phenomenal to me. It's kind of right up my alley. It's got that kind of mid-century retro vibe going on, although I think it takes place in modern day and in the ether or wherever souls go. But it does look really moving, and I think it's going to have an incredible message.
Yeah, I really love jazz music, and I think that has something to do with it. Jazz music has this way of just sort of getting inside your soul, really. Have you seen the movie Heart and Souls with Robert Downey Jr.?
I haven't.
Oh, you should see it. This trailer reminded me sort of the plot of that movie, which I won't give away because I think you should see that movie.
We had some Tweedledees write in with their thoughts on the trailer.
We sure did.
Dan, who you can find on Instagram at Disney_Dreamer_D, said, I'm already crying.
Aww. JJ on Instagram at JSquare3 says, I'm just confused more.
I get that, JJ. I mean, the trailer wasn't incredibly detailed, but there were definitely some emotional overtones they were reaching there.
Yeah, this was certainly more of a teaser than a trailer.
Our friend Janice, who you can find on Instagram at NachoHatAce, said, this looks amazing.
Denzel on Instagram from _Washington says, this really warmed my heart. This kind of representation reminds me of when I saw Princess and the Frog for the first time. The music is amazing, and I am excited to learn more and more about it all. This has high potential to be a personal favorite.
Jesse, who you can find on Instagram at JessieHP_24, said, cry emoji, blue heart emoji, cry emoji, blue heart emoji.
I mean, well said. Thumbs up emoji. Callie on Instagram at C_Miners says, I'm really excited for this movie. It also appears that I'm going to be a hot weeping mess during the movie because of my reaction to the trailer.
And last but not least, Kevin, who you can find on Instagram at Mr. Kevy
Love it, love it,
says,
love it.
Mind, period, blown, period. This is an incredible subject matter to take on, but I feel like there's no better company out there to present such deep concepts in such an accessible way. Very excited.
So all in all, I think this trailer did its job.
It sure did, and we thank everybody for writing in with your thoughts on the trailer for Soul.
Well, now that we've gotten through all of that nonsense, Adam, we've gotten to the part that our Tweedledees have been waiting for 67 minutes.
That's right.
Our giveaway.
For those of you that don't know, we are celebrating Thanksgiving month with 4 weeks of giveaways that we are calling ThanksGAYving.
Ooh.
And each Thanksgiveaway we are having relates to the fact that Frozen 2 is opening this month on November 22nd.
I've heard of that movie.
Probably won't do that well.
I saw a few posters here and there at Disney World. They were lightly advertising it.
This week's Thanksgiveaway was the book Conceal, Don't Feel, A Twisted Tale by Jen Kalanita.
The spine is only slightly broken because I read a little bit of it.
It's well worn. It'll fetch a higher price on eBay now.
Ooh, that's true. It has some of my essence on it.
Mm-hmm. Patrick, do you want to announce the winner?
Obviously, I do. The winner is, drumroll please.
It's not a drum. It's not a drum at all. Was that a confetti cannon at the end?
I don't want to talk about it. If you don't know, then you're not aware of the magic that's in my mind.
I want the listeners to know that there were jazz hands involved.
There were jazz hands involved. Very musical. I should have been in the movie Soul.
Yeah.
Okay. Our winner is Bored Life Mama. Cassandra, congratulations.
Congratulations, Cassandra. We will be reaching out to you via DM to get your details.
Hopefully you won't be a Bored Life Mama anymore.
You know how you were questioning the meaning behind her Instagram name a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
She actually reached out to us and said...
She did?
Yes. It's because she does incredibly beautiful, detailed chalkboard art.
What?
Really unique work, really beautiful work, yeah.
I'll be the judge of that when you send us some chalk art of Gays Do the D,
Wow.
Cassandra. Prove yourself. Now that you've got a book from us, prove it. So how do we up the ante from there, you might ask?
How do we up the ante from there?
Another ThanksGAYving Thanksgiveaway.
That's right, Patrick. It is time for our week 2 ThanksGAYving Thanksgiveaway.
It's getting harder to say.
It is.
Is that because we're getting drunker and drunker? You don't know what to put in your coffee? So for week 2 of ThanksGiveaways, we have an Anna and Elsa pin set from Walt Disney World. I picked it up on my last trip there. It's super cute. We'll post a photo of it, of course, on our Instagram so you can see how delightful it is. And it's a double pin set, so it's extra magical.
It features Arendelle royalty, Anna and Elsa.
So lovely.
And kind of like a deconstructed or like stylized version
They're
of
looking
themselves.
very concerned almost in the pin.
I love it.
I love it too. I might keep it.
Every week we have to go through this. You are not allowed to keep this.
I need things, Adam.
I know you need things.
I need attention. I need merch.
Yep. So how do you enter to win, Patrick?
So step 1, follow us on Instagram.
Crucial.
Easy peasy, crucial, rucial.
Did that go how you wanted it to go?
It did not.
Okay.
For those of you who aren't already following us, you can do so at GDTD Podcast on Instagram. Find the post of our ThanksGAYving Thanksgiveaway Anna and Elsa pin set. And under that post, featuring the photo of the pin, tag 3 of your Disney-loving friends, and you have entered to win.
That's so easy.
It's a lot easier than I made it sound in the 37 takes it took to get me through that.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You can also receive an extra entry by reposting our post or adding it to your stories and tagging us at GDTD Podcast.
I love it. I love it. Extra entries, Anna and Elsa, Frozen. It's just a good day.
We will be accepting entries until 6 o'clock p.m. on Friday, November 15th. The winner will be contacted via DM shortly after that and announced on our Monday, November 18th episode.
And I'm always accepting entries, Adam.
Patrick, anyone who has seen your personal Instagram account knows that you are accepting extra entries.
Adam, that is very, very true. Wait, you follow me on Instagram?
I followed you at one point, and then I clicked the unfollow button.
That is news to me, Adam. That is news to me. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. But since we're on the news...
Oh, the news.
Why don't we talk about the news?
Let's do it.
You're so rude. Now that Halloween has passed, it's time to start thinking about next Halloween.
That's so true.
AKA Gay Christmas.
Gay Christmas.
And according to Entertainment Weekly, Gay Christmas has come early.
Has it?
It has. Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker have all been quoted expressing interest in appearing in the sequel to Hocus Pocus. Both Bette, Wind Beneath My Wings Midler, and Kathy, Sister Act Najimy, attended... It gets better, Adam.
Are those their Christian middle names?
It's their... Yep. They both attended the annual Halloween Gala in New York City on Halloween night. Midler is on record saying, "I hope they get to me before I'm a corpse. We want to fly again. I hope Disney Plus is a big success, and I hope we get to do it because Winifred is, of course, one of my favorite characters. I can't wait to read the script. We're going to see what happens."
Very, very exciting.
Very exciting. Najimy brings it down a smidge.
Okay.
She's also on record saying, "Sarah and Bette and I all have a million projects and things that we're into, so I don't know if they're going to offer us roles. I don't know if the worlds are going to collide so that we could all three do it at the same time, but I'm happy that it's happening because the fans are really rabid and they really want it. And if we're not all available to star in it, I think it would be so great to at least do a cameo."
I like that Kathy's playing hard to get. Like she's a little bit more coy about it all.
Yeah, she has a contract to think about. So that's not as reassuring. However, Sarah Jessica Bradshaw Parker responded to a fan's question about the movie on Instagram. SJP said, "We have all said yes, now we wait." What?
I don't know what's going on in these ladies' personal lives.
Yeah.
But professionally, it seems like they're all relatively available for this project.
Yeah, I do know what's going on in their personal lives, and I'm not allowed to be very close to them. Via court order.
Yep.
Yeah, so who can say, though? Who can say?
I think you can. You've been going through their trash.
It's true. Here's what I'll say. I'm going to stay optimistic about this. I think now that the fans are getting a little taste of the blood in the water, they're going to make this happen.
Why is there blood in the water?
Well, that's why I have a court order to appear in front of a judge.
Is it your blood? You're disgusting.
I don't want to talk about
it. An update to last week's story regarding the $3 fuel rod portable charger swap fee at Disneyland and Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
It's not happening.
I know.
That's the update.
Oh, I love it.
Disney released a statement saying a decision has been made to not implement the $3 portable charger swap fee until further notice. Guests can continue to swap their fuel rod portable chargers using fuel rods owned and operated kiosks at Walt Disney World Resort and at Disneyland for no additional cost at this time. So, Patrick, as you know, when the stickers started appearing on the portable swap stations, the online backlash was intense.
It's true.
And, Patrick, a class action lawsuit seeking $5 million in damages was filed against Fuel Rod's parent companies, Tricopian Inc. and Save Me Batteries North America. And at that point, Fuel Rod backed away from the November 1st $3 swap fee start date.
Interesting.
According to a November 1st The Orange County Register article, quote, "The lawsuit alleged a breach of contract and false advertising by Fuel Rod. The suit claimed there were thousands of potential class action plaintiffs." The lawsuit went on to say, quote, "With the charges themselves undersized and underpowered as compared to their price tag, why would someone pay $30 for this device? The answer is that they are not simply paying for the device, they are paying for the service that accompanies it."
I totally agree with that.
So great news for anyone who uses this service.
Absolutely. When I was in Walt Disney World this past weekend, I sent you a picture of the fuel rod station with no sticker that said $3 swap. So I was able to swap my rods for free all weekend long. And I also changed out my fuel rods.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for that.
Earlier this year, we reported that Disney and Points of Light had partnered up to announce a search for their first ever Volunteer Family of the Year. Throughout the year, 5 families were identified as finalists: the Orlandos, the Bell Wallaces, the Javanyagams, the Nepolas, and the Aguirres. On Friday, November 1st, the Aguirre family from McAllen, Texas, were surprised live on Good Morning America, along with Mickey Mouse himself, to announce them as this year's Volunteer Family of the Year. The Aguirre family's dedication to volunteerism started 4 years ago when their daughter Emily saw a homeless person for the first time, and she asked her parents how they could help. This moment prompted the family to start Emily's Meals, which now provides food to 40 homeless people every day of the year, and links them to local health, social service, and pet care services. Disney and Points of Light will be donating $10,000 to Emily's Meals, and the Aguirre family will enjoy a week-long Walt Disney World vacation where they will be the guests of honor at a Family Volunteer Day celebration. The other 4 families were also surprised to learn that Chairman of Disney Parks Experiences and Products, Bob Chapek, was so impressed with their work that he invited them to Walt Disney World, and they would each receive $5,000 for their charities. All 5 families will celebrate Family Volunteer Day at a special celebration in Disney World on November 23rd. If you are looking for ways to volunteer with your family, you can head to pointsoflight.org, where you can find volunteer opportunities in your area, and you can head to pointsoflight.org/Disney Rewards to learn how you can register your family to earn tickets to Disney parks by logging volunteer hours.
What am I doing with my life?
You're running a podcast, Adam. This is our volunteer service to the world. Nope, that's not accurate.
I'm sorry, world. We need to do more, world.
Give it back.
A new exhibit has opened at the Gallery of Arts and History in the World Showcase's Morocco Pavilion at Epcot.
Very exciting.
Entitled Race Against the Sun, the exhibit showcases 2 incredible modern-day competitions, Marathon of the Sands and Rally of the Gazelles, as well as the rich history of the ancient inhabitants of the Sahara, the Berbers. According to Disney Parks blog, the exhibit features immersive experiences, including a lifelike diorama of Marathon of the Sands with race gear and trophies from Moroccan competitors, and an interactive photo opportunity highlighting Rally of the Gazelles, the off-road all-woman desert rally. Each of these intense competitions take place in the Sahara Desert, and guests can also discover how Sahara's original inhabitants, the Berbers, mastered the challenges of living in the formidable environment.
I can't even imagine, A, being there,
right,
and B, running in that environment.
Right.
That sounds like hell to me.
I can barely walk on a 75-degree day. And we all know, Patrick, that amount of learning and immersion in an exhibit can be like an endurance competition, right?
It's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
So if the exhibit leaves you feeling a bit peckish, you can head on over to Tangerine Cafe to experience Salou, an energy-packed snack made from almonds and sesame seeds, which marathon participants commonly eat during their race.
I've had those before.
I have not, but they sound delicious.
They're not that delicious.
Oh, really?
They're more for refueling your body.
Right.
They're pretty good. They're a little bit sweet, but also a little grainy.
Okay.
In my experience.
Okay. Just like me, a little bit sweet and a little bit grainy.
That's exactly how I describe you. The holidays are here, Adam.
I'm so excited. I've been reading about all of the parks, decorations, and experiences. I can't wait.
It's really beautiful in the parks right now.
Was it like Hallowmas while you were there? Was it like in between Halloween and Christmas? So
it's exactly what it was.
Both decorations were up?
For like a brief second, yeah.
I love it.
So this year, ABC and the Disney Channel are bringing us 3 holiday specials that will bring the magic of Disney parks and Disney Cruise Line to your home. On November 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ABC will air The Wonderful World of Disney Magical Holiday Celebration. Matthew Morrison, Emma Baby Spice Button, and the most attractive man in the world, Jesse Palmer, will host a 2-hour Thanksgiving night special directly from Cinderella's Castle in Walt Disney World and Sleeping Beauty's Castle in Disneyland.
Who's Jesse Palmer?
He is from Canada. He's a sports announcer.
Oh.
Look him up. You'll be pleasantly surprised. I'll continue with the story while you look at pictures of him. Woof. Viewers will be treated to Disney Park sneak peeks, including a behind-the-scenes look at Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. There will also be Disney holiday entertainment and musical guests, including Sting, Shaggy, Portugal the Man, Pentatonix, Ingrid Michaelson, Andy Grammer, Ally Brooke, and violinist Lindsey Sterling.
Was Jesse Palmer on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, I don't know.
He looks really familiar to me.
He may have been.
There's dimples and very nice teeth and facial hair.
Yeah, I want to get lost in his arms. On December 13th, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, the Disney Channel will present Disney Channel Holiday Party at Walt Disney World. Disney Channel darlings Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim will host the party featuring holiday performances by Disney Channel fan favorites Isaac Ryan Brown, Ruby Rose Turner, and Kylie Cantrell, which will be broadcast from Walt Disney World and from the Disney Fantasy. Viewers will also get to see a first look at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and an exclusive sneak peek at the Disney Channel original movie Zombies 2.
According to Wikipedia, Jesse Palmer was cast in 2004 as The Bachelor on the 5th season of the reality television series The Bachelor. That's how I know him.
Okay.
There's probably a lot of video footage of him with his shirt off.
Yeah, I know him from my imagination.
Okay.
And it's an extensive imagination.
By the way, I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying.
I did not know you were here.
And I heard a lot of names I did not recognize. I'm old. But Jesse Palmer, though. I'd like to Jesse Palm him.
Wow. Moving on to Christmas Day, Adam. Let's clean it up a little bit. On December 25th, ABC will air the Disney Parks Magical Christmas Day Parade at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. This annual celebration will be hosted by, again, Matthew Morrison, Emma Baby Spice Bunton, Jesse Palmer, Marcy Martin from ABC's Blackish, and J.D. McCrary, who voiced young Simba in the most recent version of The Lion King. The show will feature the Christmas Day Parade down Main Street, USA, Disney Park sneak peeks, performances by Sting, Shaggy, Pentatonix, and the cast of Disney Plus original series High School Musical, the series.
Sting?
Yeah, Sting and Shaggy. Shaggy's back fresh from Little Mermaid. Are they prepping for something? Because I believe I read that Sting and Shaggy are doing a duet at some point.
Oh, that's right. They're actually going to be voicing Mufasa and Scar in the remake of of the new Lion King.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That's going to sting.
Why did you do that?
You got stung. Adam.
And I'm allergic to bees, so I need an EpiPen immediately.
Well, no one's going to Shaggy you.
Keep rattling those off. Just keep going, Patrick. How many more you got in you?
I don't have anything left in me, Adam. I have nothing left.
You've given everything to this episode.
Yes.
I have some more holiday news for you, Patrick.
Thank goodness.
Disneyland's popular holiday overlay for It's a Small World will be making a few sensational additions this year.
What can you possibly mean by that?
It's a Small World holiday, now in its 23rd season, gives the classic Disneyland attraction a merry makeover with holiday tunes and seasonal costumes for the children of the world.
Aww.
As in previous years, guests will also experience seasonal scents at key moments of the attraction. Fresh pine and peppermint will once again be enticing guests in the European scenes. This year, and new to the attraction's overlay, will treat guests floating by Asia to the scent of cherry blossom.
Ooh.
South America will feature a cinnamon scent, and the South Seas will take guests seaside with a coconut scent and include hundreds of iridescent bubbles floating in the air.
So basically, it's Soarin' in a boat.
Yeah, it's Soarin' in a boat. Patrick, did you know it takes a talented and dedicated team of nearly a dozen cast members 35 days to install the attraction's glittering facade, while approximately 24 cast members spent 18 days decorating the interior of the ride?
Did you know it takes a dozen people and 35 days to convince me to go on It's a Small World?
What? Now, why is that?
Not my favorite ride.
Oh, okay, so Popeye's great, but It's a Small World is trash?
You're never going to dig out of this hole, Adam. Popeye is a masterpiece. Don't you dare laugh at me. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Patrick.
Why don't we talk about my favorite subject?
What's that?
Me.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right.
Now, of course, I just got back from my trip to Walt Disney World for the Wine and Dine Run Disney Half Marathon.
Yes.
And I want to tell you all about it.
I want to hear all about it, so that works out really well.
Well, now that we have a captive audience as well, they have nowhere to go.
And well, they could turn off the podcast.
I don't know if that's an option.
That's not an option? Okay. No, I know a lot of our Tweedledees are huge Run Disney fans.
That's right.
Participate in the events themselves or are considering doing it. So I think this will be a really great way for them to learn more about the events and kind of live vicariously through you if they are a fan of the events.
And you should be a fan of the events because they are so amazing and fun to do.
And we also need to talk about things you experienced outside of Run Disney, because I'm sure there's plenty you did on this trip.
That's right. It was a very magical trip as per usual.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you want to get into this? Because I wrote a 500-page essay on
Great.
it. Should I just read that starting now?
I think there's nothing more engaging on a podcast than to hear people reading things.
Yeah.
So you should do that.
And it all rhymes, too.
Oh, great. Let's talk about the Run Disney experience first.
Oh, okay.
This was not your first Run Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon.
No, this was my second Wine and Dine Half Marathon, my fourth Run Disney Half Marathon overall, and my fifth Run Disney event in total.
But my brain just melted.
Because I did the Star Wars Rival Run Challenge this past spring. So that included a 10K plus a half marathon.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any ways that this experience differed from your previous Run Disney events?
Good question. So... Yes, in that this run specifically made me feel like I'm getting a little bit older.
This was the one, huh?
I won't lie to you. Yeah. Things were just a little bit more creaky than usual.
Yeah.
I hadn't trained as much as I wanted to, but I felt prepared going into it. My knee had been giving me a little bit of trouble all week, and so I had to sort of slow myself down a little bit and take inventory of my body during this run, whereas the past ones I was ready to just kind of go. And I sort of just relaxed into it a little bit more than I usually do, if that makes sense.
I think so, because when you're of a certain age, what can you do but relax?
That's right.
And I'm sorry to hear that your knee was giving you trouble. And it's incredibly distressing that we're that point in our lives where we're like, the old knee was giving me some trouble.
It's true. But that's just sort of how it goes, right? When you're doing a sporting event of any kind, you just have to be prepared for whatever life brings you. And you can either give up and go home, or you can just not power through it, but just sort of figure it out as you go. And that's what I did.
Was this the first Run Disney event where they started a half an hour earlier than they normally did?
No, I think they're going to do that for the full marathon coming up in January. This, as per usual, started at 5:30 a.m. is when the first runners went.
So can you remind us what that means as far as what time you need to wake up to be at the starting line?
You bet. So for me, I set my alarm for 2 a.m.
Gross.
Which is just not fun to do. It's probably the most taxing part about the run. I mean, let's be honest, a half marathon is very taxing as well.
For some,
But doing it that early in the morning is pretty hard to do mentally. So I woke up at 2 a.m., hopped on a bus at about 3 a.m., which got me to the starting line, basically, or the runner's area at about 3:30. Right away, when you get off the bus, though, it's incredible what Disney does. They sort of just pump you up immediately. There are cast members and volunteers greeting you as you get off the bus and encouraging you and cheering you on. You get through security, and the first thing you see is a little bit of a line to go meet some of the characters. So it sort of distracts you from the feat you're about to do, which is really nice. There's a DJ there. It's just a very party atmosphere at 4 a.m.
Typically the time when a party's wrapping up.
Exactly.
And that's when the party's just starting for you.
I'm sure some people were just leaving the bars at that point while we were ready to do a half marathon.
Be honest, were you just leaving the bars? Did you just leave the bars and walk to the starting line?
I can't confirm or deny that, but
right.
The answer is yes.
Yes. So for those listeners that don't know, can you kind of walk or run them through the experience of what it's like to run one of these larger events? For instance, what kind of distracts you while you're running?
That's a good question. So part of what I love about Run Disney is that they themselves are distracting you from the run itself. Not that you should ever lose focus of what you're doing physically, but they have character stops all along the run where you can literally stop for a photo with, say, Baloo from The Jungle Book, or some of those rare characters that you don't normally see in the parks very often. There's also a lot of music that blasts. Some Disney movies are being shown on some giant jumbo screens throughout the run, and the cast members themselves are out cheering you on, and a lot of volunteers. It's a really uplifting experience. You can't help but feel that Disney is behind you and wants you to do your best and to complete. So it's just really encouraging the whole way through. Whereas a lot of other runs that I've done are sort of you're on your own, kind of, or if with a buddy, if you will, but you pop up your headphones and you just run, and there's nothing really but nature itself to distract you. So if you're looking for a run that's full of joy, Run Disney is the run for you.
If you're in the zone while you're running, is it more difficult to pull over and do a photo with a character, or do you just skip characters because you're like, I'm feeling really good right now, I want to continue on my path?
Right away when I started the run, I wanted to sort of get ahead of time a little bit, so I passed up a couple of characters. There was Mary Poppins and Bert were the first characters to meet, which is smart because they are not in a full-on costume, and I'm sure they don't want to be touching sweaty people at mile 13.
Right.
So I just kind of kept my momentum going until I got through Animal Kingdom. And that's when I sort of felt like I was on a good pace. I'm ahead of time. I can stop and relax and take some photos now.
Yeah, because I would imagine that there's kind of a bottleneck at the beginning to meet a character because there's so many people that are still in a pack together.
That's right. So something to note is that to complete the Run Disney Half Marathon, you should be able to do a 16-minute mile at least throughout the entire run, if that makes sense. And so when you do stop for these characters, the clock doesn't stop, right? So you have to make sure that you're ahead of that pace to allow yourself at least 1 or 2 minutes to get through that line to get a photo.
So what was your route? Where did you start? And then what was the sequence of the parks that you ran through?
Sure. So you start at basically the parking lot at Magic Kingdom, and then it's a little bit of a highway run for about 3 miles, and your first park is Animal Kingdom. You get to run through Pandora, which is really beautiful. There's some photo stops there that you can get a picture next to the waterfall and the floating mountains, and then it's a lot of highway after that until you get to Hollywood Studios. You run past Tower of Terror, and then you run through the boardwalk, basically, until you get to the gateway into Epcot. And from there, you run basically around the World Showcase and then into the parking lot at Epcot, and that's where you stop.
Do you know why you don't have an opportunity to run through Magic Kingdom in this event?
I actually don't know the answer to that because I know that they do run through the Magic Kingdom during the Run Disney Marathon Weekend, half marathon. You can run through the Magic Kingdom for the full marathon and the half marathon. And I think they can do it for the Princess Run as well. So I'm not quite sure why they don't do it every time. There must be some sort of logistical nightmare that they have to go through.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To close down all of those highways and to make sure that you're running through the parks before they open. But I don't know the correct answer. I'm sure someone out there knows. Let us know, Tweedledees. It could just be that they want to keep it a special thing for those 2 events.
To encourage you to register for more Run Disney events.
Exactly.
How did you do on time?
That's a rude question, first of all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually very open about this. Something that I am sure to note to anyone who talks to me and on my blog is that I am never going for speed in these. I just want to complete and have a good time. So there were, I should say, 12,875 runners who completed the half marathon. I placed about 5,000 in there, so middle of the pack, kind of.
I think that's great.
Oh, thanks. My time was about 2 hours and 45 minutes to complete all 13.1 miles, which is, for me, about average. I generally am anywhere between 250 and 230, so this was a completely average run for me, which is good. That's all I want. And I was able to stop for about 4 characters. I stopped at all the water stops, so this was a nice casual pace for me.
And as far as weather, was this more or less intense than your experience last year?
So last year, it started to rain as soon as we started running, which actually felt kind of good because it happened to be a very warm day that day. This time, it was actually quite chilly in the morning, which I prefer because it just keeps you cool off and it doesn't heat you up so quickly because once you're at like mile 4, your body is starting to get pretty warm. So I enjoyed that it was a little bit of a chilly morning.
Does it get very hot very fast then once the sun comes up?
You can tell that it starts to warm up a little bit, but in Florida in general, I think it doesn't really start to aggressively heat up until about 11 a.m. Anything before that is a pretty average weather kind of a day. And in general, most folks are finished around 9 a.m. It's not too bad, actually. It gets pretty bright, I will say, and sometimes you're running directly into the sun, so you can't see much, which can be a little bit of a hazard. I didn't bring sunglasses because I hate having extra things on me when I'm running.
Sure.
But it wasn't too bad. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. It was a very bright morning.
And coming from here in Minnesota, where at this time of year there's absolutely no humidity,
right?
And going down to Florida where there is intense humidity, how does that factor into your run?
In past runs, it has slowed me down quite a bit because the humidity just tends to drag your body a lot. We were very lucky that the humidity that whole weekend was not bad at all. Even people who lived there were commenting on, you came at a good weekend because it's been pretty mild weather. But in general, it's something to consider. They have a lot of water stops for the Run Disney event. About every 1.5 miles, you'll have a water and or Powerade option. I encourage anyone who's doing a Run Disney event or any half marathon to stay stay hydrated, but especially in that heat, you're losing a lot of water and a lot of sweat, and you have to replenish. Otherwise, you're going to take a toll on your body.
So let's talk about some of the events that are in conjunction with the run itself.
Sure.
What other experiences are there for you to participate in as part of this Run Disney experience?
So for every Run Disney experience, there's the expo that happens days before the last run happens. You basically need to check in there before your run to get your racing bib and any items you might want to purchase that are Run Disney related. It's at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. It's basically a huge celebration prior to the runs. There are vendors that are not Disney related that are selling their products, which is actually kind of helpful because a lot of people lose their luggage or they forgot things like their favorite running socks or headphones, and you can purchase them there, which is really convenient. Also, then there's a Run Disney shop itself there that you can get anything Run Disney related. There are wine glasses, keychains, stuffed animals, shirts, anything you can think of. They slap a Run Disney logo on it and you can buy it there.
Do a lot of people run with the wine glasses?
I bet some do. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sure some people do.
Well, you said stay hydrated.
It's true.
So like a nice Pinot Noir or maybe a Rosé.
That sounds like the worst idea ever.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe the best. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I'm not a professional. And then, of course, after the Wine and Dine Half Marathon, they have a unique event only for the Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend, which is the after party at Epcot, available only to those who ran the 10K or the half marathon for free. That's included in their admission into the run. You can also purchase a ticket to that.
So last year, as you mentioned earlier, it was a bit of a washout for you.
Literally.
Was the weather more favorable this year?
This year, the weather was great. I will say I didn't stay long for the party. I had just had a long day. I needed to get some more rest. It was a long weekend. And so I made the decision myself to sleep that night and not stay out too late. There were a lot of people there and they were having a lot of fun. People are wearing their medals and their shirts from the weekend. And it's just a really big, wonderful celebration. Something that's really lovely about the Run Disney events is that you're getting two communities combined into one, a running community and an I Love Disney community. And so it's just a really wonderful experience to hang out with people that you've never met before, but you're all sharing in the same experience. And so it's just like a runner's hug. You know what I mean? And Disney does that anyways, but when you're with 12,000 people who are having the same experience that you are, it's a really uplifting time.
So you've got people on a runner's high and on a Disney high.
And on a wine high, I imagine.
Yeah. You mentioned your blog.
Just casually.
Where can people find that if they want to learn more about this particular Run Disney experience?
Sure, yeah. So I did start a new blog. I have only 2 posts up so far. It's called Patrick Runs Disney. You can find it directly at patrickrunsdisney.com, or we have a link to it on the GDTD website, gaysdothed.com. It's all about my experiences with Run Disney, and I'm hoping to sort of explore what I'm actually getting out of this and why I'm doing it, and to maybe help motivate people who haven't thought about doing it before. So if you want to get more of an in-depth, detailed version of my most recent Run Disney trip, head over there. I'll probably drop that post sometime next week. You can follow me on Instagram, patrick.kazuki, and I will post exactly when that blog post drops.
So let's talk about what you did outside of the Run Disney experience.
Yeah.
What were some new things you got to do during your visit?
So I'll talk about a new purchase that I made.
You're opening with merch?
I'm opening with merch, but because it was also an experience,
okay,
I went to the Droid Depot in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and I got to build my own droid named Peanut Butter.
Peanut Butter?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Peanut Butter. Do you feel like a god now because you've created something?
I have created a monster.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. He haunts me in my sleep.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. This experience, I have to tell you, was so much fun. The cost is, I believe, $99.99 plus tax.
Okay.
But you do get a full experience with building your droid that you get to keep, of course, and take home with you. You check in, basically, and they ask you if you want to build an R2 unit or a BB unit. So basically R2-D2 or BB-8. From there, after you've chosen, you go to this little conveyor belt where all of these droid parts, basically, are moving past you, and there's an instruction manual saying what parts you need to build that droid. And so all the parts are different colors. There's some different shapes and sizes of different parts that you can choose from. And you see your favorite bits, and you grab them and put them in your basket.
I love grabbing bits.
I know you do. You would love this. For $99.99 plus tax, you can grab so many bits. So once you've grabbed all the parts that you need, you take it to the building station, and from there, somebody helps you piece together your droid, and you're doing it all by yourself, basically. You're sort of giving your droid life. There's a screwdriver that comes down from the ceiling that you screw it together, and you just watch him sort of come to life. Once he's fully complete, you put it on a little power unit, and it sits there for a second, and you wait until they say press the button. You press this little button, and you watch your droid sort of slowly come to life. It's amazing. He starts making a little bit of noise, his eyes will light up, and then his head starts to turn, and he looks like he's talking directly to you. It's really beautiful. I imagine it's like giving birth. It's the same. Don't you think?
Yes, I'm sure all the mothers out there will agree that that's exactly what it's like.
100%. 100%.
Well, we're very fortunate that Peanut Butter is joining us today.
That's right. I told him we were recording today, and he insisted on joining us.
We've actually given him a little droid headset, and he's our unofficial co-host today. Does he have anything he wants to say?
Let's ask him. Peanut Butter, are you having a good day today?
Can you translate? What does that mean?
He said, "Why is the redhead talking to me?" That's not very nice, Peanut Butter. Oh, he's sorry.
Oh, thank you, Peanut Butter. That means the world to me. Coming from a soulless piece of mechanics.
Rude.
Sassy.
Rude. I agree. We'll talk about it later, though.
Peanut Butter is so cute. For those of you who weren't able to see the story on Instagram, Peanut Butter is purple and white and a little BB unit.
He is a little BB unit. He's purple like grape jelly, so I named him Peanut Butter.
Delicious.
Don't eat him, please.
What else was a first for you on this trip?
So I should actually back up a little bit. My first on this trip was the Skyliner.
Oh, the Skyliner.
That's right. Let me take on a little adventure here of how I got to the Skyliner. So right now for Wine and Dine at Epcot, if you're an annual pass holder, if you go 4 times, you get this Minnie Mouse Wine and Dine coaster set. So I was like, I'm going to be there for 4 days. I'm going to try to get this coaster set. So right after I checked in to the expo and back at my resort, I headed over to Epcot to get to Hollywood Studios so I could get my very first check-in at Epcot.
This already sounds like a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Maybe that's why I was so tired at the end of my trip. So I checked in at Epcot, headed to the International Gateway to hop on the Skyliner to go to Hollywood Studios. It is so much fun. I loved it. I'm really impressed with what they're doing.
How long were you stuck, and did you have to use a poop bag?
I was not stuck, and I did use a poop bag.
Okay. What was your gondola theme?
It was Guardians of the Galaxy.
I like it. Fun.
Yeah, it was fun. They're a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be. They're pretty spacious and very comfortable. The wind that's going through it keeps you nice and cool. When it does stop, it gets a little bit heated, but not much. And they go at a pretty good clip as well. I was surprised. All in all, it took maybe 7 minutes, I think, to get from Epcot to Hollywood Studios. I might be underplaying that, but it was really, really quick. Definitely faster than riding a bus.
Did you experience any rocking?
Not really. When you first take off, it is pretty abrupt. Like it's just a really quick get you in the air situation. So if you're afraid of heights, that's probably the scariest part of it. But other than that, it's a really very smooth, relaxed ride. I will say there's an interesting sound thing that's happening that anything around you is echoed really deeply into the gondola itself. So you could hear full conversations from people in a gondola next to you.
You mean one that's passing you going the other way?
Exactly. Not one that's like riding side by side, but as people are going the other way, you can hear exactly what they're saying. It's really weird.
So no talking about the murders you've committed.
Right. Mind your P's and Q's while you're on the gondolas because someone can hear you at all times.
What other new experiences did you have on this trip?
Well, I should say I had the privilege of hanging out with quite a bit Matt Long, who has a podcast, Explore the World with Matt Long. We had the privilege of being interviewed by him, and we interviewed him on episode 54 of GDTD. He is a delight to hang out with. Super fun, very charismatic. He and I met up at Hollywood Studios, and he actually went with me to build my droid.
Oh, cute.
And then afterwards, we went to the Grand Floridian because I wanted to check out the new Enchanted Rose bar.
Yes.
It is beautiful. I have to tell you, if you have the time, go to this bar. It's really stunning.
That's great to hear because some of the pictures I've seen, I'm like, what is the style here? What's going on? Like, I know it's Beauty and the Beast themed, but is it like a light theming? Because it doesn't look that immersive.
It is not heavily themed, which I think is smart. As we had mentioned in a previous episode, there's a beautiful chandelier that is sort of shaped like Belle's ball gown. It's not the chandelier from the movie. It's just inspired by elements of Beauty and the Beast. And so you'll find that throughout the entire bar/restaurant of just nods to Beauty and the Beast in the color scheme and just in the inspiration behind it. It's really lovely.
And this is in the old location of Misner's Lounge.
That's exactly right, but I think you mean Meisner's.
Misner's.
Wow.
And then they expanded beyond that, right? Because didn't it also consume one of the shops that was there as well?
It did. It's actually a lot bigger than I expected it to be. It's pretty spacious, and there's a lot of seating, and there's a lovely patio outside. It's a really wonderful experience. I will say it's a bit pricey. If you have the means, sit down and have some food. Otherwise, just go there, have a cocktail, have a glass of wine, and just walk around. They encourage you to do that. It's really lovely.
And does the orchestra still play adjacent to that?
They are not. They have moved them to the ground level of the Grand Floridian, but they are still there.
Were the cocktails tasty?
They were tasty, actually. They have a really wide selection. I had their Manhattan, which is, of course, wonderful. All Manhattans are wonderful, but they do a really good job there. And they have an extensive wine list, too.
Oh, I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, you absolutely should. I think that you're going to like it there.
Matthew and I are going down in December, so maybe before we hit Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, we stop off at the Enchanted Rose and throw back a few.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea, because I bet they're going to start playing holiday music there. They probably already are downstairs. So beyond that, I didn't really do anything vastly out of the ordinary for a Disney trip for me. I will say I had the privilege, like I said before, of hanging out with Matt Long. We also met up with one of Matt's friends, now my friend, Brandon, who lives in North Carolina, and he hung out with us the day before the race, and we decided to have a very casual day at Disney. And so we went to the Magic Kingdom, and I had just taken off my watch that day. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about anything today. I'm not going to use a fast pass. I'm just going to have a casual day. And we decided to just sort of hop on the monorail and do a mini monorail crawl and just had like a quick glass of wine and some snacks at each of the places, and then headed to the World Showcase for the Wine and Dine event. And it was really lovely. It's a privilege, I know, to say that you can take some time at Disney and not feel like you have to do everything. But if you can experience that, I really recommend it. It just makes the trip a lot less rushed and confusing and more relaxed and conversational. So I was glad that we had the opportunity to do that. So thank you, Matt and Brandon, for encouraging that.
So you ran, Patrick. You had some new experiences, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the merch because I know you love talking about the merch.
I do love merch.
What, aside from peanut butter, did you buy during this visit?
Adam, I bought all the things.
Okay, great.
I went a little crazy.
Yeah.
I might have to get a divorce because my husband was like, you did what? You did what now? I have to tell you, the holidays are happening there now.
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, it was sort of Halloween when I landed, and then the very next day, it all flipped over to the holidays.
Yeah.
And so this year, they have such a beautiful holiday collection. It's sort of inspired by Mickey has a Christmas tree farm, basically.
The times are tough, yeah.
Times are tough. Everything's very plaid and sort of country home-ish right now.
Cool.
It's really, really lovely. So I bought this Christmas mug that I am drinking out of right now.
Oh, I like that it's matte. I like a nice matte mug. I like when they're not shiny.
Yeah, same here.
Very attractive.
Same here. They have a whole collection of like popcorn bowls and dishes that are very sort of stone instead, which makes them very heavy.
Yeah.
But it's really, really beautiful stuff. I got then, of course, the canvas bag that you can purchase if you spend too much money in a store.
So congratulations, you achieved that amount.
Thank you so very much. I bought the Arendelle Aqua Mickey ears.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
They are beautiful.
You know, there's a lot more silver in there than I was expecting. When I see the images on Instagram, they look like they're just straight up aqua, but there's a beautiful addition of silver sequins on them.
Yes.
So there's kind of like that blue and silver thing going on. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it all sort of looks like Elsa's dress, basically.
It does. I see what they did there.
Clever. I see you. I also bought the plaid holiday Minnie Mouse ears.
Oh, those are so cute.
I love them. The ears themselves are sort of that plaid shirt material as well. well. So
Flannel.
they're very soothing. Yeah. I love them. Matt and I also got to go to Oga's Cantina.
Yes.
It was so much fun this time, I have to tell you.
Oh, good. Was it not as, insane?
It was more insane, but in a good way, because I'll tell you what, the wait staff, and special shout out to Lee, who was our bartender, was having such a good time.
Oh, I've heard that.
They were just going bonkers with the music and doing cheers and chants, and it felt like a fun bar experience this time.
Yes, I've heard that the cast in Walt Disney World is more into it in Oga's Cantina than they are in Disneyland.
Yeah, they were having a really good time. So much of a good time that I had to purchase the Porg souvenir glass.
Oh, you just had to, huh?
I had to.
Yeah.
He's really cute.
He is really cute.
So I walked away with that as well. By walked away, I mean I stole him fully. No, I'm just kidding. No,
and by walked, you mean stumbled.
I stumbled away with the Porg. I believe he retails at $45, but you do get a drink with him.
So it's a deal.
It's a steal. It's a steal. And then, of course, I got the Run Disney Spirit jersey.
You're wearing it right now.
I am.
It's very fetching.
I love it. It's such a wonderful wine color.
Yeah, Patrick, I know how you love a purple.
I do love a purple.
And that is a deep purple. I would say plum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And surprise of all surprises, there is glitter on the back. Disney on the back in the Run Disney logo is full-on glitter.
It's very sparkly.
I love it.
But don't worry, folks. I did wash it already, and none of the glitter came off.
Everyone breathe a sigh of relief.
Everyone was worried. I can tell. I can tell.
That's a great souvenir because it is obviously so closely tied to why you were there.
That's exactly right. And I love Spirit jerseys. I have 7 of them now. I need to be stopped.
I say keep going. Keep going.
Fair enough. And then I bought a bunch of pins, as per usual.
One of which we're giving away, as the listeners know.
That's right.
And you may or may not have purchased a very adorable holiday pin for an upcoming giveaway. I'm not going to talk about it, but
stay tuned.
Yeah,
Stay tuned. Yeah, if I love one thing on this planet, it's a mystery pin pouch.
Oh, you sure do.
Oh, man, there's nothing better.
Did you score big?
I mean, yes, but I also got a lot of pins. What? I recently fell in love with the Hidden Mickey pin collection, and they're mystery pouches. You get 2 in each pouch, and they're random pins from the parks, but they all have a little Hidden Mickey on the pin itself. So it's a really fun collection to start.
You know what just occurred to me? A great way to kind of keep the magic going would be to buy a bunch of those and then just open one weekly when you get back.
Oh, that would have been a smart idea. I opened them all at the same time.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I can't
That sounds
be stopped.
like Patrick.
I'm a monster. One last thing I forgot, and maybe actually beyond the Spirit jersey and the pins and the mug and the canvas bag and the stuffed porg that I bought and peanut butter.
Yeah.
My favorite thing.
Okay.
is, as I said, the day I was there, it flipped over to the holidays, and they also happened to release the 2019 Artist Series ornaments.
Ooh.
They're so pretty, and I just had to.
Yeah.
I had to, Adam, pick up the Brian Blackmore for Disney Donald Duck ornament.
Well, of course you did.
It's really, really beautiful. They are a limited edition of 2,160, a very random number.
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
You think they would do 2019 because it's 2019.
That's clever. Look at you.
Call me Disney.
So only 2,159 other people will have this ornament beyond me.
Let us know who you are.
We should start a Facebook group.
Yes. Well, that's something really special. And again, indicative of this specific moment in your life when you were at Disney, right?
Absolutely. That and the Spirit jersey are sort of memories that I can take away with me, and merch. I'm memories and merch, whereas your memories not merch. I'm more merch, and some memories, I guess, to put it better.
Well, we can't wrap up this segment without talking about who you met while you were there.
That's true.
You've already mentioned Matt and Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Who else were you able to give out one of the very coveted GDTD buttons to?
Such a good question. Well, let me start out by saying that Matt can be found on Instagram at Landlopers. That's LANDLOPERS. And Brandon is at Eat, Drink, Travel, Dream on Instagram.
Brandon is a huge supporter of our podcast.
Yeah, he is such a nice guy. Follow both of them, of course, on Instagram. They're 2 lovely human beings. We were at Tutto Gusto in Epcot one night, and we ran into Mariam and Mike. They let us know to order the lasagna there.
Oh.
They were not wrong.
Oh, good.
The lasagna, folks, in Tutto Gusto is so delicious. I dream about it now.
Oh, my.
Yeah, you must have it. You must have it, along with a wine flight, maybe?
Okay. So is it like Marie Callender good?
Even better if you can imagine.
I'm shocked.
It's so creamy, so delicious.
Just like me.
Aww.
That's the second time I pulled that joke on this podcast.
And it's the first time I'll laugh at it. And the last. I also ran into Ray, Wendy, and Mary at Galaxy's Edge. They noticed my GDTD t-shirt, and they stopped and loved it, and I gave them a button, and I believe they are now listening to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, Ray, Wendy, and Mary.
I also ran into Jessica, who was working security at the International Gateway into Epcot, who is the cousin of Brady, who's on Instagram at BradyCam, who is the co-host of the podcast Never Growing Up podcast.
Sounds like she should have been working at It's a Small World, because that is a small world.
Look what you did there. I can tell you're getting tired because your puns are terrible.
Yeah, that was just okay.
Just
I'm
kidding.
sorry.
No, that was really lovely. No, Jessica was a hoot. She was so nice, and Never Growing Up is such a lovely podcast. Brady is such a nice guy as well, so shout out to you two. I also had the privilege of hanging out with Daniel, who's at Disney Dreamer Day. Daniel is all the way from Germany. Daniel could not have been nicer. We hung out in Epcot for a little bit. We hung out in the Magic Kingdom on my last day. He inspired me to spend way too much money on pins. He also gave me a shirt that he made himself, a handmade shirt with Sorcerer Mickey on it, and it's got a little bit of an acid wash to it. It's so cool. I love it so much. It was such a special gift. I can't thank him enough.
He also seemed to allude in his Instagram post that you would be heading over to run at Disneyland Paris.
We did talk about that. It's a dream of mine for sure to do the Run Disney event there.
Is there an official announcement you want to make on this episode of the podcast that you're heading over?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Tweedledees, I would like you to head over to our Patreon page to fund my trip.
We don't use the money for that.
No,
worry.
we sure don't. We sure don't. But it is definitely on my bucket list. That's for sure. And then last but not least, I have to give a very special shout out to Lou and her lovely, lovely daughter, Julia, with a G. I'm going to call you Julia with a G for now on. I did not get a chance to meet with them. As you know, these Disney trips go so fast, and it's really hard to meet with all the people you want to. So I'm so sorry we didn't get to meet, but we're neighbors a little bit because they live in Michigan now. Lou, of course, has a podcast of her own that is all in Portuguese because she's from Brazil. Her Instagram handle is at DisneyBR Podcast, and I believe you can also find her podcast using that exact term. They ran the 5K and the 10K this year.
Wow.
Well done, ladies. I believe this was Julia's very first run, so congratulations, Julia. Your pictures were so amazing to see. And I'm sorry we didn't get to meet. We will send you some buttons, though, I promise.
And you know it's going to happen one of these days.
It'll happen for sure.
Yes. Well, Patrick, it sounds like your trip could not have been more lovely.
It could have been had you been there with me, Adam.
Oh, you don't mean that.
I don't. I don't mean that at all. No, it was a really lovely trip, and I definitely feel like I learned a little bit about myself on this trip. When I take trips alone, it can get a little bit lonely. Not to say that it wasn't an amazing time to hang out with all the people that I got to meet, but on the run itself, because I had to slow down a little bit due to my knee, I took a little bit of stock of my life on this run. This is going to sound very existential, but who cares? This is definitely something that I do for myself. And I think that's important for people to have in their lives. Going to Disney World should be and is sort of a community event, but the Run Disney event itself and completing a half marathon is something that I do for myself, and I took great joy and pride in that, and it's something that I hadn't realized before to stop and remember that. I encourage all of you out there, whether it's running a half marathon or just experiencing anything new in your life, find something that brings you joy that you're doing for yourself, because it's just going to make your life that much more valuable.
That was so well said, Patrick.
Oh, thank you.
So if our Tweedledees have questions about the Run Disney experience,
Yeah.
or about traveling to Walt Disney World on a solo trip,
Sure.
how can they reach out to you?
Well, if you want to reach out to me directly, you can on Instagram. I'm patrick.kazuki on Instagram. Or reach out to us here on the podcast at GDTD Podcast. It seems so weird to say that because you always say GDTD Podcast, Adam.
I know.
I'm taking over. It's a solo job now here at GDTD.
Well, it's you and peanut butter.
That's true. You can also email us at info@gaysdothed.com, and I will be sure to answer anything you have to ask.
Hey now.
I opened a door to a lot, didn't I, just now?
Patrick.
What's up, Adam?
It is time for Quick D.
Hooray!
We have reached the end of this episode.
Finally.
And this week's Quick D is Quick D Imagine Queering.
Ooh, I'm excited.
For those listeners that don't know, Quick D Imagine Queering is when Patrick and I draw randomly an attraction from Walt Disney World, and we put an extra gay spin on it.
That's right. We shoot a big old glitter cannon at it.
And we cover it in rainbows.
Ooh. And we make sure it can legally get married.
I was going to say, and we make sure it's well moisturized.
Oh.
But yours is more meaningful, I guess.
Both can happen at the same time.
That's right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Patrick, I was thinking, since we're welcoming in the holidays, maybe we should do an Imagine Queering holiday overlay or holiday over gay.
Uh-oh. Happy holidays.
On this attraction.
I like that idea.
So queer it up, but then also maybe put a little holiday spin on it.
Okay. Either way, it's getting some jingly balls. What? Do you want to reach deep into my Wookiee, or should I do it myself?
Oh, well, first of all, I need to clean up the puke that's all over this table now, because that is a very disturbing question you just asked.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the Chewbacca mug that holds the attractions.
Oh, okay, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm going to let you do it because your hands are smaller than mine.
It's true.
And that's not a statement about your manhood. It's just a fact.
Wow.
The last time I did it, my hand got stuck inside Chewbacca's head.
Yeah, don't get your hand stuck in my Wookiee.
All right, so Patrick is drawing out the name of the attraction. Again, we have no idea what this is going to be. It could spell disaster. Patrick, what does it say on that little slip of paper?
We have our work cut out for us, Adam.
Oh, dear.
We've got Dumbo the Flying Elephant.
This is going to be the shortest Quick D Imagine Queering ever, which bodes well, I think, because this episode is 8 hours long.
It's true, and it is the shortest ride ever, so...
Yes.
Seems right to me.
Dumbo, Imagine Queered with a holiday overlay.
There's a joke about a long trunk in there somewhere.
For sure.
Okay.
And peanuts.
Yeah.
And I think there's also something to do with the spinning of the attraction. It's a spinner ride.
Yeah?
So maybe we install a bar before you get on the ride.
That seems like a disaster.
Just do a couple shots first.
Okay, so we're going to change out that playground that's the line cue right now and
you
turn
don't
it into
need
a bar.
You do not need the playground.
Okay.
And the whole theme is like, you get spun before you get spun.
I like it. You spin me right round, Dumbo right round.
That's right.
And that bar only plays Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas on loop.
Naturally.
Natch.
And as fun as it is to see Timothy Mouse on that, what is it, a hot air balloon in the middle of the ride?
Sure, why not?
That needs to become a disco ball.
Obviously.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm, thank you.
And maybe the mirrored segments are red and green alternating.
Okay, there's the Christmas element.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to swap out all the different colors on Dumbo to be red and green, blue, black. I'm pulling in Kwanzaa now and Hanukkah.
Oh, wow. You're going full on holiday now.
Yeah.
Okay, full on holiday.
All of the holidays are welcome here. Winter solstice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the Dumbos is a witch. I don't know. Druids.
Wow, this is a mess of a ride so far. I'm into it, though, strangely.
And there's our tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
Because after you do those shots, everything's going to be a mess. You're going to be a mess. The ride's a mess. The holidays are typically messy.
Thank God it's got that water feature underneath to clean up all of the glitter puke.
There's a filtration system there that we're really going to take advantage of.
Well, a lot of things are going to take advantage of on this ride, I imagine. I imagine, especially if you're riding with me. And that's the gift that keeps on giving.
Would we call that a gift? It's definitely a memory. It's definitely psychological trauma.
Wow. You have not met the thousands and thousands of people that I've been with, Adam. They thank me every day.
How? How do they thank you?
Dumbo pics.
Pics of their trunks.
Pics of their trunks.
That came full circle.
Mm-hmm. So did the ride.
Do we need to rename it? There's one name I'm thinking of, but I can't really say it. It's not really appropriate for the podcast.
Is it Dumb Ho?
It's Dumb Ho. Yeah. Which
It's not appropriate. Not appropriate.
Feasibly, we could say it. It's not explicit, but I'm still going to beep it out because it sounds inappropriate.
You're right.
Dumbo, he better don't.
Dumbo, he better don't.
You know, it might be staring us right in the face, but we could just call it Gay Dumbo.
Gay Dumbo. The bigger the ears, the better the queers. What?
Colon. A holiday underlay.
Semicolon. That trunk, though.
Hyphen. Patrick's Packy Squirm Adventure. Because if you're riding with people, they be squirming.
Parentheses.
Yes.
Keep those nuts away from my face. Latrice Royale. Maybe she's on top of the ride instead of Timothy the Mouse.
I'd love to see it.
So what we've got on our hands here is the tackiest Christmas/Halloween/holiday event anyone could ever experience, along with some mild groping. You might call it a heavy petting zoo because of the elephant and the touching. Here's what I'll say, Adam. Though this ride is a little bit of a disaster for us, it's already much better than the live-action version of Dumbo. Don't you think? I hate that movie. That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See ya real soon.